Isa ba?
Hi, Julie. Check lang, audio.
Hello.
Okay, stand by. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Pauline Verzosa. The Philippines and Brunei governments forged 3 memorandum of understanding during President Bongbong Marcos's first day in the neighbor country. The 3 MOUs are focused on tourism and maritime cooperation. The 2 governments also signed a letter of intent to renew their MOU on food security and agricultural cooperation. President Marcos also visited the Filipino community in Brunei and urged them to return and invest their money in our home country.
Things are looking up for the economy. Bukod sa mga remittances na nanggagaling sa inyo, sa ating mga OFW, I also encourage all of you to someday to return and invest and set up your own business at home and in the Philippines.
President Bongbong Marcos is set to visit Singapore to take part in the Shangri-La Dialogue. Let's get more details on this from mobile journalist Julie Baiza. Julie, good morning. And ito nga, no, may very busy schedule si President Bongbong Marcos from his state visit to Brunei. He'll be going to Singapore. But can you tell us more about his itinerary? When is he expected to arrive in Singapore?
Good morning, Pauline. Inaasahang darating si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa Singapore bukas hapon. Yan ay para nga sa kanyang working visa para mag-deliver ng address 21st edition ng International Institute for Strategic Studies or IISS Shangri-La Dialogue 2024. It is an intergovernmental security forum started in 2002. Marcos will be the first president deliver the keynote address in this forum, Pauline. Around 500 participants are expected to the forum.
Julie, you mentioned nga, no, PBBM will be the first Filipino president to give a speech in this Shangri-La Dialogue. But what kind of event is this? And ano kaya yung magiging laman ng kanyang keynote speech dito sa event na ito?
Yung event na to, dadaluhan siya ng different stakeholders in defense range, heads of governments, heads of states, and defense ministers from 40 countries. Diyan yung Chinese defense minister. Sa speech ni Pangulong kahapon, sinabi niya na i-articulate niya yung perspective at saka outlook on diplomacy ng bansa at patuloy na i-highlight yung commitment ng bansa based international order amidst the current geopolitical challenges in the Indo-Pacific. Ang DFA, sinabi na rin nila na magandang pagkakataon to para maisu posisyon ng bansa sa usapin naman ng West Philippine Sea.
At sabi mo nga, Julie, no, marami mga foreign leaders dito sa Shangri-La Dialogue na ito. So inaasahan ba na magkakaroon din ng mga bilateral talks sa sidelines ng event na ito?
Yes, Pauline, on the sidelines, inaasahan na makikipagpulong si Pangulong Marcos, Singapore President Tharman Shanmugaratnam, Prime Minister Lawrence Wong at kay former Prime Minister and now Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong na nag-imbita nga sa kanya dito. Ang Pangulong Marcos, kukunin na rin daw niya yung oportunidad para imbitahin sina Prime Minister na bumisita sa bansa at maging testament yan ng patuloy na lumalakas na dalawang bansa. Pauline, kasabay rin kasi ngayong taon ipinagdiriwang yung 55-year diplomatic relations ng Pilipinas at Singapore.
Ayan. And of course, Julie, nung sa Brunei nga, no, kinita ni PBBM mga Filipino community sa Brunei. Pero bibisitahin rin ba ni President Marcos ang ating mga kababayan dyan sa Singapore?
Sa ngayon, wala pa yan sa schedule ng Pangulo. Ang nakaschedule niya ay mga business meetings at meetings with other officials.
Alright, abangan natin yan. Maraming salamat, mobile journalist Julie Baiza. President Bongbong Marcos has signed Republic Act 11996, known as the Eddie Garcia Law. Named after the late veteran actor Eddie Garcia, this law aims to protect and ensure the welfare of workers in the Philippine movie and television industry. The law includes provisions on working hours, wages, and benefits, and requires employers to provide an agreement or employment contract. Violators will face fines of up to 100,000 pesos for the first offense, 200,000 pesos for the second, and 500,000 pesos for subsequent violations. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Pauline Berzosa. Let's now take a quick look at today's other headlines. President Bongbong Marcos and Brunei's Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah signed a maritime cooperation agreement. According to the Philippine Star, the deal covers information and research sharing, pollution control, and skills training. 3 other agreements on tourism, seafarers training, and food security were also signed. And Business World reports that Finance Secretary Ralph Recto is open to reducing tariffs on rice imports. Recto said tariffs on imported rice could be slashed to 17.5% from the current 35%. The secretary believes that this would help bring down the prices of the food staple in local markets. Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia and over 60 local officials from Negros Occidental resigned from PDP Laban, the party of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Meanwhile, in the Senate, some majority members are considering switching to the minority following the ouster of former Senate President Mig Zubiri. Here's the report.
Senator Joel Villanueva, who was former Senate Majority Leader, is seriously considering joining the Senate minority following that surprise leadership change last week. Villanueva even said that he was spoken with Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel about this. And Pimentel told him that former Senate President Zubiri's group, the so-called Solid Seven, is welcome to join the minority.
I am entertaining the idea. Maybe I'd be better as part of the minority or probably lead the opposition in the Senate.
Since the senators of the 19th Congress took office, only Senators Pimentel and Risa Hontiveros were the minority.
We admire Senator Coco and Senator Risa as members of the opposition of the minority in the Senate kasi talagang sila yung lahat ng bagay tinitignan nila, ini-scrutinize nila para ma-check yung ginagawa ng majority. Imagine if there are more fiscalizers, if there are more checkers to ensure that every bill, every measure that we are tackling and passing in the Senate would really help the best interests of our people.
Villanueva says some other members of the so-called Solid Seven have also expressed openness in joining the minority bloc. These include Zubiri, J.V. Ejercito, Nancy Binay, and Sonny Angara. Senate President Chis Escudero has earlier said that his line of communication with the group of Villanueva is open. But for Villanueva, they first have to calm their emotions while the session is on break.
So lahat po yan, buo yung options. And of course, buhay din yung option to talk to the Senate President and find out how we could be of help, saan paraan kami makakatulong.
Senator Ejercito shares the same view. He believes that eventually the new leadership has to talk to the Solid Seven, but only after emotions have cooled off and after they have decided which direction to take moving forward. Senate President Escudero noted though that his and Zubiri's camps are not rivals.
Hindi ko naman sila iniiwasan. Wala ako nakikitang rason para hindi kami maging maayos ang relasyon. Bagaman magkaiba ang pananaw namin sa ilang mga bagay.
Meanwhile, 60 local government officials from Negros Occidental have resigned as members of PDP, the former ruling party. According to its provincial chairman, Mayor Alfredo Benitez, the officials tendered their mass resignation from the political party on Saturday. Speaking about this resignation, Benitez said, and I quote, "As PDP members, we were not even invited to gatherings and meetings. What do you expect? It's not as if we did not heed their call." End of quote. But it's not just them. Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia also resigned from the political party, citing political differences and irreconcilable conflict with other members. Garcia submitted her resignation letter to PDP Laban's President, Palawan Representative Jose Alvarez. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
And in sports, Alas Pilipinas fell short against Kazakhstan in the knockout semifinals of the 2024 AVC Challenge Cup last night. Kazakhstan took the game in straight sets and they will now advance to the gold medal match against defending champions Vietnam. Alas Pilipinas, meanwhile, will face against the towering team of Australia once again, this time for the bronze medal. The game is scheduled today at 5 p.m. at the Rizal Memorial Coliseum. You can watch the game live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and the Pilipinas Live app.
Siguro po itong game po yung paghuhugutan namin ngayon na na maging inspirasyon po sa amin na bumawi kami sa second game po.
Sobrang proud ko talaga sa team. Wala akong ibang words for it kasi ramdam ko na lumalaban kahit dehado kami, kahit naghahabol kami, kahit mabilis kaming napupuntusan ng Kazakhstan. Feel ko pa rin na gustong lumaban ng bawat isa sa amin, whether inside the court or sa bench namin. So bukas kailangan mas higitan pa namin yun.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Pauline Verzosa. We are One News.